Hello buddy, it's vanburman here, welcome back to another video, and today is the official day for the launch of the RTX 3070 cards, and obviously it's faster than the 2080 Ti, as I was told, except of course it isn't. Well, that's not completely true, of course. The answer often lies somewhere in the middle of two completely opposing statements, and by all accounts it's really good. I've probably sat through maybe 5 or 6 different YouTubers' reviews, had a look at a couple of written reviews as well, just to obviously verify the charts and the benchmark scores and everything else. And I'd say overall they're pretty much all in agreement of the fact that it is a very well performing card for a mid-range entry. Of course, RRP is meant to be around £500, so I believe, for the Founders Edition. What it will end up going for in a couple of days' time, I don't know. I imagine, probably looking at an extra £50 to £100 top end for the AIB cards, which hopefully have had a bit more time to make different versions of, and then however much extra it costs to actually get one. Obviously, we saw probably the biggest gouge, I would say, with the 3080. That's sort of like almost, well, not quite doubled, but I don't know, a 75% increase on the price. The 3090 not as bad. I think we'll probably see the 3070 sort of slip into where that fits. So I imagine you'll probably need to spend, I don't know, about £650, £700 to get yourself a 3070 if you decide that you want one this early. So effectively the same price as what your 3080 should be costing, which which to me makes the whole, I've seen quite a few different people do it, which is good, but they had a price per frame chart to try and gauge relative performance. Now I quite like that as a concept. It makes a lot of sense to me. It's something that I probably would quite like to do on the cards that I've bought and test and what have you. That'd be quite interesting to see where things fall for the money, to try and garner a value. But the thing is, you can't with the 30 series cards, because to do that you would probably have to do it in terms of what is the cheapest price I can get that card for right now. So where's the only place at the minute where I can buy a 3080 from? So or 3090. It's Facebook Marketplace or it's eBay, right? And what's the cheapest one on there? So the cheapest one on there is what, £1,200 for a 3080, £1,800 for a 3090. And as soon as you start doing that, the case becomes a bit more difficult, doesn't it? Probably the true, well, I don't know, but then do you just do used cards against used cards? Because a lot of these companies, the warranties aren't transferable. So that's just a general point I think I'm making. But the main point purpose of this video was just to talk about the comparison between the 3070 and the 2080 Ti. And for me, there wasn't that sort of uplift that we're expecting. In fact, there were quite a few shocks in there for me. I think overall on the whole, the consensus is that the 3070 does worse than the 2080 Ti in ray tracing, 1440p and 4K. There are obviously exceptions where they do trade blows. That happens a lot at 1080p, 1440p. But the consensus, once again, is that the lower VRAM and the lower bandwidth speed, yeah, the bits, they're to blame for the lack of performance at the higher frame rates. The thing I did pick up, though, and obviously we're talking fine margins between the two really, is that the 1% lows, or the sort of like lower figures that lead us to gauge like a true frame rate, how smooth something is, were generally better on the 2080 Ti. I don't know if that's to do with power delivery, or because it's got the extra power headroom and all that sort of stuff. I don't really know. I'm not certain at all. But what I can tell you pretty much for a fact is that the 2080 Ti I had, it being water cooled, would beat every single one of these new wave of 3070s that are going to come out. So, and it was something that, I warned against, and many people in the comments also said as well that, it's not going to be cut and dry. The 2080 Ti probably is likely to be better than the 3070, and I would say in terms of raw gaming performance and the raw sort of graphics benchmarks, so like 3D Mark, Firestrike, Port Royal, it is better. But more, I don't know if I'm going to say concerning, but more telling is the fact that it does better on the RTX games with the RTX functions enabled. And I was sort of led to believe, or we're all sort of led to believe, that this second generation of the Tensor cores, the RT cores, would, garner such this big difference in improvement when that stuff was enabled. And the fact that it only really keeps up with the 2080 Ti, for me, in that very small subset, shows me that actually those claims of that advancement aren't as good as they are in reality. And I think, to be honest, we've seen that across the board from NVIDIA. We've seen it with the 3080 and 3090 as well. The gains are not there as we were promised, I guess. Not to say that it's not a good thing, and not to say that the prices aren't. If there was availability, the prices aren't reasonable. Especially if we just consider the 3090 to be a Titan, and we consider the 3080 to be the top range card. On those metrics with the RRPs, they work really well, and the 3070 definitely has a place when everything sort of balances itself out again. I do, however, and this is only rumours and conjecture, but I can't speak today. But I don't know what's going on. But it does leave the door open for AMD, especially in the bracket between a 3070 and 3080. If they can release a card that is in between that price point, because there's a fairly decent gap, and it's priced in between that gap as well, or it's priced the same price as the 3070. I think they've got a really decent chance of picking up the mid-range. And that's assuming, of course, people in the mid-range don't, pick up 2080, maybe cheaper 2080 Ti's or 2080 Supers for less. It sort of depends where that fits and where the prices do eventually sit. Because one of the things I've noticed as a subtopic is that, a lot of places have been putting up their prices for when stuff is in stock. And, especially with like the new AMD processors that are coming out soon, I've seen them listed for one price, and then 2 weeks later they're tacked on another 5 to 10%. So I think there's an imbalance that needs to be addressed, and it is a stock issue, and I think that will happen going forward for a bit, and probably longer term as well, as we see that the figures for the epidemic are going up and what have you. I have my concerns over the availabilities and that sort of stuff. So yeah, another thing I would say is that I've read on the Overclockers official forum that a lot of people probably are going to be waiting until well into 2021 to get their card that has been pre-ordered through them. Obviously, they're not the only place that sells them. They're not the only place that are going to get deliveries. But, they've got thousands of pre-orders, and they've only shipped, can't remember what the number was now, between 4 and 5, was it just over 500 cards they've shipped across the whole of the 3080 range. Like, it's not even really a joke at this point, I don't think. Had I known it was going to turn out this disastrous, which even in my wildest dreams I wouldn't have thought. I've not known anything like it where it's been that limited. Only time is when things are on limited runs, or there's only going to be 500 of these guys and that's it. But this is something that's meant to be fully widely available. if I know things are going to play out, I probably would just get my 2080 Ti in all honesty. Not that I have any complaints really. It's just one of them. It's fun in games, isn't it? We have to play the merry-go-round. My hope at the minute is to pick up a 5900X. We'll see how that goes next week. I am not going to be holding my breath, but I'm content with, you know, the equipment that I've got at the minute. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to the upgrades and the potential performance increase that will give me across the board, GPU, CPU wise. So we will see. Yeah, I don't really know how to end it. I think all the discussion about a 2080 Ti for £350 can be put to rest. It was a joke at the time. It's a much bigger joke now. In reality, you know, a used 2080 Ti should be roughly the RRP of a 3070 best case. And right now you can tack on that extra 200 quid or so. So basically makes them effectively the same price on the used market. About 700 quid, 650, 700 pounds is what I expect 2080 Ti's to go for, pretty much, or at least 600 pounds all day long. So no real difference than we were at the announcement time. The last time I made a video, which is what, nearly 2 months ago now. It's funny really. The more things change, the more they stay the same, I suppose. Don't know what song that's from. But anyway, point being, that's where we are, and I've touched on loads of topics there, and I only meant to talk about the 3070. But yes, let me know what you think in the comments. I'd be really interested if you are someone who's looking at buying a 3070. If you're still going to try and get one, I presume. And if you think you will be able to, you know, the launch is in 2 days from now, from the point I'm recording this video, and I would have my doubts as to whether you'd be able to get one or not. I imagine there'll be a good section of people who will just try their arm at trying to get one in order to, you know, resell it, make a couple hundred quid on it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the mid-range market is really that hungry for it. I think if you had a GTX 1080 or 1080 Ti, I don't think you'd bother in all this carry-on, to be honest with you. You know, if you had those cards and you were happy with them, I just don't see the point. You'd presumably wait until there's actually stock of the 3080 and then buy one then, or see what AMD can do. But that announcement's tomorrow, I think, and the news on that I'll cover as well, because I'm very interested. Even though I can't see myself buying an AMD card as things stand, it will be interesting to see how far they've come, because they have always been lagging a good way behind NVIDIA. It's just a fact. It's not a problem. It's just a fact. And for me, you know, the bigger generational stride they can take, the quicker they'll catch up. So, and in any case, hopefully surpass, just to keep competition flowing and NVIDIA honest, because at the minute their claims have not been completely true all the time. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.